So very common behavior if you're heading towards a divorce in your marriage. So those are the four. I'm just going to review them here real quick. So we have criticism, we have contempt, we have defensiveness, and stonewalling. So if those four are prevalent in your marriage, or any one of them are prevalent in your marriage to a high degree, it's very likely that you're heading towards divorce. And so now's the time to kind of evaluate that, to stop and say, okay, this is present in my marriage, and I can change myself. I can change my behaviors. I may not be able to change my spouse's behavior. Now, you oftentimes can through love and through kindness and through changing your own behavior. You can soften the heart of your spouse to where they want to change. And when that happens, that's a beautiful thing. And hopefully that's what happens in every case. But we know that it doesn't always happen that way. But ideally, that's the way it should happen. But it first starts with softening your own heart and being willing to change. So these four things: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, stonewalling, if you can change in these four areas and remove them out of your life, it's very likely that you're going to have a very successful marriage, and you're going to reverse things. You're going to turn on a dime and be able to pivot and point yourself away from that divorce and towards a very happy, very productive, very satisfying marriage, and a marriage that can unleash a lot of potential in um, happiness and communication, and be able to have a higher degree of love in your marriage, and also a higher degree of human intimacy, which when you really love and serve someone and these four things are absent, then human intimacy really goes to another level, and it really becomes celestial. It really becomes heavenly. So those are the four right there. Now, Dr. John Gottman, he talks about these four things as being the negatives. He refers to it as a 5-to-1 ratio, and this is from his research. So this isn't just shooting from the hip. This is actual. He's actually done studies on this, very numerical, statistical in nature, where he's gathered a lot of data on this, and he's got it down to a science. So this 5-to-1 ratio is saying for every one negative interaction, you should have 5 positive interactions. So the 5-to-1 ratio, I'll repeat it one more time. So for every 5 positive interactions, you should only have 1 negative interactions. If that is the case, it is very, very likely that your marriage is stable and is in a very good place. If you're much higher than that, on the negative side, your marriage is in danger of being unstable and eventually maybe heading towards divorce. So you need to be very careful of that. Now, I think it's important, like, sometimes people think that their marriage has to be perfect, like, there has to be no negative interactions for their relationship to be perfect, or for them to be worthy of being married together. And I just kinda wanna clear that up here and now, is that every marriage, whether it's healthy or otherwise, is gonna have some is gonna have some negative interactions to it. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage, and we live in a fallible world. We live in a very difficult, challenging world to live in, and so there's gonna be times where when you have 2 intelligent people who marry each other, where they have different viewpoints on things. It's gonna happen. And so you can't get around it. You just have to work through it. You have to discuss it. You have to keep communication channels open. If you don't, then criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling are going to creep in, and they're going to be a big part of your marriage. And they will lead to the destruction of your marriage if you're not careful. They will lead to divorce. So those those things need to be cleaned up and pushed out of your marriage. And if you will do that, you will be able to bulletproof your marriage. Um, and so it's just important to recognize that even great marriages need improvement and critical. If you think you're not vulnerable in your marriage, that is the exact moment when you start becoming vulnerable in your marriage. So if you have a great marriage, just know that that can change, and don't let it change, especially if you're starting to notice criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling creeping in your marriage. Those are powerful indicators, tried and true indicators that your marriage is heading the wrong direction. Now, this vulnerability, being vulnerable in a marriage, is very important, and also recognizing that your marriage may fall or may slip and not be a good, healthy marriage anymore, may not be stable anymore. Um, when you think that you're not vulnerable anymore, that's really a symptom of pride, or a really relating to the principle of pride. So, your pride causes you to let your guard down and you start trying as hard as you normally would to, and you start becoming complacent in your marriage. And we don't want that complacency in the marriage. And that's where those four things can slip in again: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, stonewalling, those key indicators. So don't let your guard down. Superman has his kryptonite. You have your kryptonite. Don't let it sap your strength, and don't let it cause you additional pain. So that's the goal here with these 4 points from Dr. John Gottman.